pertain to us, whether nationally or internationally. Um, so these are the things that we technically focus on throughout the crux of the show. What are a few of the things that have taken place in the past week since our last show? Well, for all our regular listeners, thank you for those who listened last week, and thank you for any one of you guys that made a formal complaint to the BBC. The BBC about the usage of the N word twice in a matter of a few days. The BBC has since apologized after they refused to initially apologize after receiving over 18,000 complaints. And we would like to think that hopefully one or two of you guys last week, or a few of you guys last week, added to that statistics for that complaint. Um, we want to also big up Sideman, the DJ that actually stepped down. A lot of our people are a bunch of kissers. You know what word I'll put in front of that? You know, um, they're a bunch of kissers, but big up Sideman for standing firm. You know, um, and forcing the BBC into that position of an apology, because no more, like I said, no more should we be standing by the wayside and waiting for people to come and help us. No more. Whatever people do to you, do it back tenfold to them. No more. No more. Simple as that. No more. We will take no more. Whatever they do to you, like I said, give it back tenfold. No matter what the final outcome is going to be, just give it back. Give it back to those who put it to you, give it back to them the same way. And eye for an eye, nah. An eye and blind them. Some you see. What I mean? We don't take it, we give it. There's been so much that's taken place in the past week. We had that another BBC incident, that so-called BBC celebrity. I don't really see anyone on the BBC as a celebrity still, but nonetheless, it is what it is. That's what they call them. That idiot woman down there on the south end side of town that berated the black family, using racist terms. Fortunately, the police have done something positive in this situation. They get one right every 10,000. Um, they arrested her. Let's see what the outcome of that is. And that's all we're asking. We're just asking for parity, fair and e- fair treatment right across the board. Fair treatment for everyone, right? We're not going to say equal, because somebody do wrong and me do wrong, we don't want the same treatment. So we have said fair treatment right across the board. Fair is fair, right? This is what we say. It's a doctor's surgery. If you want to take part in the show, the number is 0753 996 8143. 0753 996 8143. One last time for the money is 0753 996 8143. So what else has been taking place? On the topic of race and racism, which is unfortunate, that the issues that seem to be predominant in our corner week in, week out for a while. Well, it's the news anyway. The news is generally negative, but nonetheless, the race issue seems to be growing more and more and more profound. So the BBC has apologized anyway for the usage of the N word, and I think the person who said it themselves, they need to be held to account as well, not just the BBC and the producer of that show. They need to be held to account. And the original lame excuse that the BBC said, that they were trying to highlight an issue. Issues can be highlighted without using derogatory terms. And this is one of the things that I've been saying, that growing up and as a youngster, the N word, I defended the usage of it. As we get a bit older, a bit wiser, we realize that we make things cool. I did a show about this. If you listen to one of our original shows back in the beginning of the year, if you go onto the Doctor's Surgery on the YouTube channel, go to the Doctor's Surgery, search the Doctor's Surgery, I should say, filter by, after you search, you filter by channels, and then we should be the one right at the top. We will be the one right at the top. When you go into the Doctor's Surgery, there's a whole, all the shows that we've done in the past are there. You will see for yourself. If you listen, you will hear the different topics and subject areas. One of our first shows that we did, or first series of shows, we highlighted the need that perhaps we need to stop using that N word. Why? Because we make things cool. Anything that we utilize, anything that we we adorn, be it clothes, be it fashion sense, be it movement, be it behavior, we make it cool, we make it trendy. And for us to be using extremely provocative and, if used by others, degrading language amongst ourselves, we have to expect that we are going to make that cool. We're going to make it trendy, and others are going to want to use it and then misuse it. Because in anger, people will misuse things, and in admiration, people would want to try to assimilate and be a part of something once they see it as cool. So is it time, that time, like I said, since the early part of the year when we started doing the show, is it that time we lay the N word to rest? Should we be laying the N word? And I think so. But I know the younger audiences won't be following what I'm saying at all. They might not be agreeing. But that's where things are for me in my mind, that we should lay that to rest. Anyway, what else has been taking place in the news in the past week apart from the BBC's apology? We've had Dawn Butler coming on the news, and Dawn Butler coming on the news explaining that she was stopped a couple of days ago, a few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, and she's put the video online. If you want to go online, you'll see that video where she said that basically she was racially profiled, so it was a racist stop, and the police, in their position, are disputing that, saying that it wasn't a racist stop. Now, I always bona fire, as we say colloquially. We always bona fire when MPs don't back our opponent. And when an MP says she was racially profiled and stuff, sometimes we have to treat it like how we would treat ourselves in that same context. And we always put ourselves in their shoes for that moment of transgression or support that they're giving us. And in this situation, I will have to support, I'm going to give our title and everything, the Honorable Miss Dawn Butler in this situation. Because and of the belonging, everything is going to be 100% above board with those things. And like I said, a friend of mine in the show last week, a friend of mine, they were stopped, and the officer had the audacity to say to my friend that they stopped him because he looked like he was 2021 and he was driving that car. So the car that he was driving was too nice for someone that's young and black to be driving. That was literally the statement of the officer. And the officer thought that he would have been treating that as a compliment, as if it's something nice that's being said, to say, "Oh, I understand, officer," da 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 da, and go. But no, we have to think about our youngsters and everything. We have to think about what if, and that's why I respect Dawn Butler's choice to highlight this issue, because it's not essentially about her, who was able to eloquently explain herself to the officer and defend herself should it be taken to greater levels. It's not about her in those situations. You know, it's about those that don't have that essential um, ability or know-how to defend themselves properly, whether through speech or through decorum in those situations, and they always land and end up in a, what's the best way of saying it? They always end up in a very yeah, end up in a conundrum where things turn from bad to worse, where they give away their rights and end up in the wrong because they don't know how to tackle the police when the police are showing racist and biased behavior, which they do. One of the things that I've highlighted plenty on this show is that my I have a strong gripe against the head of the Metropolitan Police because she declared a few years ago that the Metropolitan Police is no longer institutionally racist. And by definition of the term institutionally racist, we feel, by the definition of term institutionally racist, we feel that she's using, what's the term I'm looking for? She's using those little nuances to slither like a snake, like a slimy snake through the cracks because she's using the semantics and the technical terms and the technical definitions and saying, well, I've changed this and I've changed that policy. So just like a little slimy worm, she's trying to slither away from a fact that you cannot just change a couple policies and racism in the police is gone. You might put in a few little things, a few little tick box exercises, but it doesn't mean racism in the police is gone. And even the very policies that she miss, what's her name, Crusader Dick, head of the Metropolitan Police, you know, the little slimy worm-like policies that she's implemented, even in their operations, sometimes themselves are now being flagged up as being racist. So tackling racism is not a tick box exercise. Tackling racism is about tackling biasness and inappropriate behaviors towards a particular group. And like I said, no more. So I give thanks to Don Butler in this instance because, like I said, when they do foolishness, I bond them. So when they do good things, I have to praise them because, like I said, it's not about her. She didn't have to take the L on this one, and I'd say the L because you know that her peers are looking down on her for that. They're not looking at her like she's doing a great thing. So whenever one of ours stand up firm for us, because we're the ones that have to go through that, then we back you. We will back you all the way to the bank. And I will tell the listening audience that back them. It don't matter if them the foolish in the past. We don't tear down our own. We seek to reform them and those that are in that position of power to be our voice. So big up to Don Butler for doing the right thing there and highlighting the stresses that the younger generation are facing. The athlete, what's her name again? Bianca. And all those people, including my good friend who got pulled over because he looked young in a nice car. All these things we need to start highlighting. Looking young and black is not a crime. Being black in a nice car is not a crime. Being black in a car that's in an area where the car isn't registered is not a crime. So when the police pull you over with all these stupid reasons and think that you're going to be grateful to hear a stupid reason, no more. So we have to have that united voice. I was so disappointed throughout this whole thing. I was so disappointed when I heard, and I have to say it, when I was looking into this situation with Dawn Butler, And there was a young conservative MP called Sean Bailey. Now, Sean Bailey, say when I go at people, I just say it, innit? You kissing, and you know what word goes in front of it? Coon. You know what I'm saying? Playing up, putting down your sister, support your sister. Stop playing the game. Yeah? Stop playing the game because you want your little big round head to get voted for mayor. You're going to put down your sister to get a little credit and credibility. This isn't party politics. Your sister wasn't defending your sister. Your sister was defending the people them out on the road that can't defend themselves. Yeah. So when you are going to be discrediting her and putting her down and saying the police ain't racist, what's wrong with this big rounded boy? You get me? I can tell you ain't with you ain't with a sister. If you're with someone, you ain't with a sister. I mean, I hide and talk it. You get me? That's why I do the show and I do the show raw and I do the show unapologetically. You get me? I'm not one of them ones you're gonna ask for an apology, you're gonna get it. You might get a worse reaction. If I, but I can contend when I do something wrong, and I can contend when I say something wrong, and I can apologize. Just like I apologized wholeheartedly to management last week because I was wrong. You understand? So I'm never going to say that I'm always right, but I'm going to burn a fire where I see that someone's done something wrong, and when them flag up and say, you know what, hold a man up. Don't bother. If you want to run from here for London, that's good, and you will have my vote, but only if you support. And if you don't want to support, stay quiet. Why is it that someone is trying to flag up something that is clearly a concern, especially for the era in which we belong? You know, they're flagging up something for an area that is two things. She's from Northwest, known as a black area, right? One of the highest police presence in this area, Northwest. East London, known as one of the highest police presence because again in that area in this in East London. Why? Because it's seen as a black area, even though Acne is very much going through a high level of gentrification. You know what I'm saying? So northwest to Hackney, black area to black area. And in these areas, the police presence are a little bit higher. So you can see the profiling taking place. The excuse that the officer gave about entering the registration wrong and all these things and blah blah blah. Yeah, right. You get me? All of a sudden, you enter the registration wrong. The police have something on their car called ANPR. But you enter it wrong like anybody an idiot. Yeah? You have something on the cars called ANPR. Do you guys know what ANPR is? If you don't, you're not a driver, let me tell you what ANPR is. A, automatic. N, number. P, plate. R, recognition. Don't come with that one again. Nobody know idiot around here. You get me? About foolishness. Text message reads, yes, yes, King, rise up. Greetings, King, you're on point. Big up, Sister Ivy, West, best. You don't know things. Nice, nice, King, you are keeping it real. I love that. Appreciate that, sis. You know what I mean? I do appreciate that. If you want to take part in the show, the number is 0753 996 8143. 0753 996 8143. One last time for the money, 0753 996 8143. Now, so Sean Bailey, Mr. Bailey, fix up. You know, I'm glad to know, say, you can take over from that idiot Sadiq Khan to be mayor. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what he's doing. He's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to be another fool going in that seat like Sadiq, it don't make no sense. You got it. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that if you're going to represent the people, everyone. Be balanced and fair. That's all we're saying. So don't tear down your sister to try to gain recognition. You know what I mean? Don't do that. It's not a nice thing. Better you don't say nothing like the rest of them. But if you're going to say something positive. You know, in a situation where your sister is not essentially representing herself, I see that as more of a selfless act than a selfish act. Even though it could have gratifying results, it's still a selfless act because the act in itself can have very negative ramifications towards her. You know, so right with the thing. Like I said, we don't tear down each other. But I'm giving you a clear warning. Honestly, it's a shot across the bow of the ship. Yeah. Don't let me turn my sights on you in a negative way more than how I've just done today. Because if I do, you're not turning me out today. Trust me. Um, what else? So what else has been in the news? I don't know if you guys have seen the unfortunate video, and it's like sometimes you have to wonder if these things are being done to antagonize. You have to wonder, are these things being done to antagonize, or is it genuine that these police officers are just stupid, or what? But in Bournemouth, in the past week in Bournemouth, and this has a whole level of deep complications that I'm going to walk through and tread very carefully with, but I'm going to walk through it anyway. Go back to get a refund for the purchased item. On going back to get a refund for the purchased item, there seems to be there seems to have been a debacle, some argument, some whatever kind of situation that took place in the shop. Now, the shopkeeper said the woman hurled anti-Semitic abuse at them. The police came, and that's how they reported it to the police. The police came, took this, six police officers came. I don't know how much was there in the initial stages because the video doesn't get it from the beginning. Threw this woman, 32-year-old black woman, on the ground, face down, and cuffing her. Now, them say sometimes it's good that you don't see certain things because, personally speaking, I can't stand up and watch a black woman get 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 abused by any race, other race, not even by a black man. I can't. So the moment I see something like that, my blood would have just boiled, and I probably would have been you'd hear the producer doing the show this week to say I'm currently locked up because I wouldn't stand by it and see that and don't get mocked in it. So some, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, my mom would tell me off and say, "Why did you get involved?" But it is what it is. Because I can't stand by and watch that. But nonetheless, six rough and tough idiots. I can't call them police officers because not every police officer. I can't even put that one on every police officer to say they would fling a woman to the ground. You get me? Who throws a woman to the ground and rough up a woman and cuff them? Who does that? Who really does that? Now I know that area, Bournemouth, is a very racist area, historically speaking. I mean, I don't know if anything's changed, but I know that historically speaking, if the more and more black people go up there, the more and more I still hear negative things about that area. It's Hertfordshire, right? Bournemouth?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Want to check it?
Yeah, check it. And we know that Hertfordshire police ain't known for their equal
Yeah.
rights and justice. So unfortunately, the sister got roughed up in a way that, it's not pleasing to the eye when you see the video. Now, why did I say it's a bit touchy? The woman claims that she at no time said anything derogatory to the shopkeeper. Now, once upon a time, You see, no, I have something very delicate to balance because coming off the whole Wiley scenario over the last couple of weeks, and in this situation here, we have to say, you know what, like I said, we don't stand up on anyone's shoulders to get to where we're getting to. And I stand by that statement.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that is because over the years, when we say someone's used racist language to us, the first thing you hear everyone want to say is they pull in the race card, right? So we have to take this situation in two ways. Is the sister correct? And someone's pulling the anti-defamatory card, or did the woman say something that's defamatory, and as such, herself was lying? Well, I'm not gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna side with my sister, and I'm gonna treat it that she never said. Why? Because not because I don't think she can't say, but because I side with my sister until I know more, until it's been proven that everybody side with them one, right? And why am I saying that? With the Wiley situation, no one knew what was going on. Well, I did. I said Wiley wasn't talking to everyone because Wiley's not that stupid to be talking to the world and be such a bigot. That's not the Wiley I've bucked up on in the past, and that's not the attitude of Wiley. So it must have been a breakdown of communication, you know. But for those who don't know, some £4 million or more was stolen from Wiley by his management group, by three individuals, and I'm not going to say he was making those comments and those references towards those three individuals because of loss of monies, some £4 million, if not 4 million plus. He received back some of the money, and he was fighting to get back the rest of his money. As you know, he himself said he doesn't even have his plaques and his monuments in his house. I would love to get Wiley on the show so that Wiley himself can give you the deep down and the detail of it. You know what I mean? But some 4 million plus pounds was stolen. Stolen technically when them borrow it and don't want to get back. And then that's what led to the boiling over where the brother can't get his money. And it was a case like, right, you ain't getting it back, what you gonna do? So now you realize why it was like when you see on road and you can run off your mouth. Now all those things start to make sense. The anger. You know what I mean? Because even if a me and it's 100, I could have £20. So I ain't got Wiley money, you get me? So £5 triggers me off, you get me? So you can imagine someone take that amount of money. But so the reason why I'm saying that is not to create conflict, is to say that we have to start looking at the situation that there's always more to the eye than what it seems. And until I know a little bit more, I'm not going to castigate this woman because I didn't castigate Wiley. I'm going to support my black sister like I supported my black brother. So on that note, I'm going to find out where the shop is. And I'm going to ask people to boycott the shop until we find out a little bit more. I'm not going to ask you to boycott everybody of that religious persuasion because, like I said, I don't climb on people's shoulder. But that shop in particular, until we know exactly what's going on, I'm going to ask people, even though our money probably won't make no difference, but don't spend your money with them. That shop. that specific shop. We're going to find out the details, and if anyone knows the details, let us know the details, and we're going to put a lifetime ban on that shop. Just like how Wiley get a lifetime ban off Twitter, we're
And
going to
all
put
social media
on
as well.
all social media
You know.
near enough. We're going to put a lifetime ban on that shop. That means that any black money that go in that shop, we're going to ban that person from being black.
Mm.
Yeah, are we going to ban them from being black? You think I'm joking? If you spend your black money in that shop, you're no longer part of the black race. We're going, what they call it, excommunicate, like it's a religious thing, in it. We're going to excommunicate you from being blackness on a serious level.
Excellent.
Religious term.
Yeah.
But they say they excommunicate you from the Catholic Church or whatever, innit? Yeah. So, but anyway,
Okay.
so, but humorous presentation aside, a single penny of our money shouldn't go towards that business or any affiliation of that business as of today. We're going to find out where that shop is, and we're going to highlight it next week. And we go to, this is how we are taking anything that people do to us, we take the same approach and we magnify it. So that shop and any affiliation of that shop, we're going to push out and we're going to say we have done everything to do with that shop. We're going to be responsible for ourselves. We can't feed ourselves yet, right? Quite yet. We can't close ourselves yet, quite yet. So we don't own those factories yet, quite yet. But we have to take responsibility for where our money go and all them little things from now on. And anything that anyone do to we, we're going to do it back tenfold. That's all I'm saying. Text message reads, they will, if it's a black woman, go back in history what we suffered.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. Sister Ivy, that's very true. The black woman has gone through a lot. Um, as, you know, as a people, we've gone through a lot, and we have to recognize. I'm getting bad looks in the studio. Let me say that again. As a people, we've all gone through a lot, and I can understand that in every ethnic grouping, a woman gets the greater brunt of things in that grouping. So we know amongst white folks, the white woman comes off worse in most scenarios. Amongst black folks, we know that the black woman, in a lot of senses, come off worse in terms of just ability to have power to make things happen for themselves. Text message reads, good morning, doctor. Just tuned in. How could I find out what shop you're talking about and what happened? Well, we're going to look a research into it, 322. We're going to do some research because, like I said, if it's true that they reported negatively against this woman, you know, we're not target the people then because of who they are. Because it could have been a black shop, it could have been an Indian shop, or whatever the case may be. We don't stand on people's shoulder to get anywhere. But when someone attacks our own, we go after the individual. So Grace, basically what happened is that a 32-year-old young black female was grabbed up and thrown to the ground by several police officers. The incident has been referred to the IOPC, the Independent Office of Police, whatever. The independent people, them that the police that monitor the police, but never really monitors the police well. It's been referred over to them because they said a total of 6 officers took part in really arresting one single 32-year-old female that was wearing a very short skirt. 6 men, white men, manhandled a black sister in a little short skirt, face down on the ground, exposing the woman. You can even hear a passerby saying, "Can you cover up her legs, please?" in the video, exposing up the sister and everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it wasn't a nice one. The shop reported to the police that there was defamatory statements made. You know what I mean? But the sister was saying that she said nothing defamatory in the shop. She just wanted a refund, and they didn't want to give her her money back. You know, so we are back. We have work at the shop there, straight up.
You got several messages.
So we got several messages. Let's run through. Text message read. No, I know, Sister Ivy. I said, text message read. I said, woman, as you were talking about the woman in Hertfordshire. Yeah, I know. I followed. I followed. I know exactly what you meant. That's why the producer looked at me with evil eyes when I generalized. Um, because she said she was looking at me with the implication that I'm detracting from the strife and the struggle that black women go through, and I do recognize the strife and the struggle that the sisters go through. You know, I mean, I do recognize your individual struggle and strife. You know, because testosterone causes us men to dominate in a lot of areas where, sometimes you have to just ease yourself and allow the sister them to be able to be who they supposed to be, our partners by our sides. You know what I mean? Sometimes the leaders, because as you know, the greatest leader is the mother, the home, keeping it going. You know what I mean? The man's the protector. Leaders too, but in a different sense, you know? And if you study history and stuff, you'll realize that even the greatest of greatest warriors, the reason why, such as like Shaka Zulu, give you one off the head top. It was his mother and aunts that really gave him the tactical styles to beat the British using spears and shields, whilst the British had guns and cannons. Yeah. Um, so text message read, but yes, we as a people or race have gone through a lot. Yeah, definitely. Six men now. You see why I said women. So tell studies pop stop raise the eyebrow. Studio peeps. Okay, tell studio peeps. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Hmm?
Shaka, yes, yes, yes. You really keep it real. Yeah, man. Cause Shaka Zulu. Um, that story. If you don't know much about Shaka Zulu was a brilliant. They said Shaka Zulu was a brilliant tactician, but it was really the influence of his mother and his aunts that really gave him the tactics that led him to win against the British. So yeah, that's the situation there. You know what I'm saying? In relation to that sister there up in Bournemouth. It's very it's it's sad. When I sat and watched the video, I didn't even share it with the producer because I felt
You know I
that
was gonna be raging.
it was just going to cause rage, and I didn't want to cause that rage. I said, you know what, let me just discuss it on the show and flag it up as an issue. Um, what else? What else has been in the news? It's been a slow week. We saw that major explosion over there in Beirut, is it? Um, and now there seems to be a major push to help to rebuild Lebanon. Considering, but there's been so much disasters worldwide. Look at Haiti. Haiti went through a major disaster. Was it back in 2005 when they had that landslide?
Mm.
And Haiti got like aid, and then they stole a ton load of Haiti's children. I'm sure Bill Gates. You say I don't like Bill Gates. Every time I get a chance to flag him up, I'm sure Bill Gates teach some of his kids, teach some of them kids that down there as well. Now to go on with some what's that guy that was going on with
Epstein.
to go on with some Epstein behavior. You get me? But we look at Haiti. Haiti went through a very bad trauma back in 2005 or thereabouts, and to this day, the millions and millions and hundreds of millions that were promised to Haiti ain't been seen, and it was just a few hundred millions that was promised to Haiti. Now they're saying that Lebanon is going to take 11.5 billion, and everyone's fighting and fluttering over themselves to get that money together to help, as long as there's a change of government. You see, anytime we have to rise back off our own backs, and we have to start learning to help each other, because they're not going to really help we. They went into Haiti to mine minerals. That's the only reason why they set up a base in Haiti to get minerals out and children. You know what I mean? So we know why I go on this one. So yeah, so it's like I said, those are the key issues that have taken place over the past week. I know that you wanted to have a chat about something before I recap and regurgitate. So let me give the number again. If you want to take part in the show, it's 0753 9968143. I'll give it again, 0753 9968143. One last time for the money, 0753 9968143. You can listen via the airwaves 104.1, or tuning radio on omegafmradio.co.uk, uh, or live and direct on the Doctor's Surgery on YouTube. So go onto YouTube and search the Doctor's Surgery. How do we spell the Doctor's Surgery on YouTube again? So it's THE space Doctors space Surgery, and then go to channel and filter. No, sorry, go to filter and filter by channels. You click channels, and the Doctor's Surgery would be right at the top. TDS would be right at the top, and you can watch live and direct. Subscribe. Follow the show, support the show, subscribe. Now, when we look back and we reflect, you ready to go? No?
I can do.
Okay. So I'll hand over to you.
Oh gosh. Okay. It's just basically touching upon police brutality and the recent events which happened in Collindale,
Mm-hmm.
with a minor
Mm-hmm.
being arrested for suspicion of possession of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't on him in person. However, it was at the scene. So they arrested the minor without knowledge of the parents, and basically there was a little riot that happened outside of Collindale, or does Collindale have a police station?
I don't know.
Collindale or Barnet police station, one of them. A
I,
police station anyway, near Collindale. Due to how they manhandled and disrespected the poor minor, because he got searched without an adult. The parents didn't know. It's numerous occasions this child has been searched and taken into custody, and I just find it disgusting.
I would say this: that young guy, that minor, it's likely that the paraphernalia that was found close by, it's likely that is his. Let's say it's his. He's smart enough in his youthful age to
Dash it.
not be found in possession of it. Now, it sounds like the police got upset and angry because this youngster was able to use the nooks and crannies of the laws. So he's following the Met Police chief's example, of being slimy through the cracks, right? So he's able to use the loopholes available, the legal loopholes available, to not be caught up in the legislative breaking of the law. It sounds like the officers got angry and upset, and they themselves then became dishonorable
Mhm.
and breached the law.
Mhm.
What is the standard process in terms of and protocols by this? Because surely there should be a claim in there somewhere, not a complaint, a claim.
Mhm.
Because if the officers have broken the law,
Mm.
in that sense, that should be a claim for the damage
Mm.
straight away.
I think that's what the whole purpose was, is that people at the time were questioning the police so that they could inform the mother, because I think they wanted to get a lawyer or make sure that everything was handled correctly. But at that moment of time, it didn't allow that scope to happen. The police were not allowed.
So did the police themselves not inform the mother?
What was said is that at the time, they didn't inform the mother. And on previous occasions, they haven't informed the mother. And they've searched the child without an adult being present.
So the passers-by witnessed them searching the
because
minor.
it led to a kerfuffle where I think about three to four other people got arrested because they didn't want, without a valid reason, they didn't want the child to be taken. So everyone was aware of the situation.
How old is this youngster?
I don't know. It didn't say.
It's
It
not
just
said.
says it just says
It's just minor. Okay.
I'm
Because
not sure. I can search it.
these are the things, but in the same sense, frustration isn't a valid excuse for the police to be breaking their own rules and regulations. Frustration and it's a lack of discipline more so than anything else. And likewise, I cannot condone a minor selling drugs. I can't condone two wrongs don't make a right, even though they say negative and negative equal positive, no? But two wrongs don't make a right in that sense. A minor in this country should be looking to take up all the opportunities available to them to be the best they can be. And it's unfortunate that society, be it social media, music, and all, society is teaching these youngsters that the best they can be are trap stars, drug dealers. And it is a daunting task to know that if we go back to my generation, during my generation, we have to overcome the the spell of illusion where it was presented that certain negativity and certain negative behaviors and practices were the way that it should be. And there was a small voice, there was a small amount of us that were able to voice to avoid those negative actions. It doesn't mean that because you were avoiding those negative actions, you weren't harassed by the police. In those days, the police harassed every and anyone in whatever ways they could. Just I guess it's just like today. You know what I mean? But the point is that we shouldn't be condoning.
It was 14.
It was 14.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is it 071 971? Thank you very much, 971.
Horrendous.
We shouldn't be condoning a 14-year-old out there moving drugs if he is. And nonetheless, we cannot and will not tolerate the police putting a minor in that situation, because let's say they had found something on this this youngster. If he wasn't smart enough to be one step ahead, then what? They would have moved to try to ruin his life, and we should generally accept what they say. And we all know that they plant evidence. We all know they plant evidence. So, and we all know that they work for their Christmas bonus. The more arrests, the more charges. So what people will do in a very underhanded way. So we don't want to know that a youngster is taken out of the public eye, placed in a private setting, and strip search. You could also have some pervert police officers as well that might even have feel up the youth when them are searching.
Because they were saying basically in that area, it has a problem with stop and search, and it's been known for black men to have their trousers down in the middle of the street.
You get me? That's what I'm saying. Some pervert police officers are trying to search the youth them and I fondle around the youth them. You know what I'm saying? I've seen them kind of pervert people. You know, and when I can't understand pervert, I have to talk for myself. I can't understand pervert because we know that they had that MP. Was the MP? Recently the MP where he was making pictures, pornographic images of
Kids.
children, including babies. And to God, I don't understand. No, like I said, I don't understand you make a pornographic image of a baby. How that no, it can't even compute in my head. You know what I'm saying? You better them say that make some pornographic image of some teenager way that age or something because it's all right. Sometimes it mature before time, but babies.
Jeez.
No, me talk straight. You get me? But babies, that don't make no sense in my head. It don't make no sense in my head whatsoever. It don't compute. What kind of sick brain is that? And then he gets what? 18 months suspended sentence?
Yeah.
18 months suspended sentence. And you know that there's minors, like 15-year-olds, having what's the word? In relations with other 15-year-olds. And those 15-year-old children, they get time, some of them, and if they don't get time, they get a long order with youth offending services and forever be placed on a register. And the two don't equate because one is like age, the same age and age, but the man seems to get the brunt of that. You know, after different brothers in that one, because I've seen so many. The man get the brunt of that when two of them are the same age. 15-year-old boy, 15-year-old girl, and the boy life is ruined forever and ever. That can't be right. And that happens a lot with black youngsters. That happens a lot with black youngsters. You know what I'm saying? So you can see this MP, like I big up the MP earlier. I said the honorable, right? An MP should be on a certain power level where all their actions and deeds are just honorable in every sense of the word. So if an MP, someone that's in that position, does something like that, they should be looking at what? They should be doing some prison time. As an example, that's where the example should go. But the example of what they always want to do is always with our youngsters. And it's like we're afraid to talk. Everybody afraid to talk because anytime it comes to anything, whenever it comes to sex and sexuality, people get it becomes tentative and everybody get and don't want to talk. I don't care. Me I talk. Can me talk about what I want to talk about. Am I more? You understand what I'm saying? So it's like we have to do better. We have to stop making people whip us and in every sense and shape of the word because sometimes them kids don't even do nothing and don't even know, some of them don't even know no better. This 14-year-old that's selling drugs, he needs to, what's the word? He needs to be taught a better way. You know, there needs to be better guidance. There needs to be better role models. I mean, there needs to be better in all areas. But let me know what you're thinking. I'll recap and give the number out. What have we been discussing? If you're just tuning in, it's the doctor's surgery. What have we been talking about today? We've been talking about several things. We've talked about the BBC apologizing for the use of the N-word twice in 1 week. And you know what? It's not the first time in the last couple of years the BBC is doing that. Twice in the last week, but one of them was a replay from a show from last year. They done a report, a piece talking about some. I can't remember what the piece was about, but they used the N word in that piece, and they replayed that piece on the BBC last week or a week and a half ago. They replayed it on the BBC a few days, 2 days after that news report about those two racist guys down there in Brighton that had knocked down the little young black NHS worker and then hurled the N word at him. Now, the BBC at first was saying that the piece was to highlight the profanities of what was said to the young black guy. However,
And didn't they say they asked for permission from the family to say it or something like that as well?
the family
And the
can't give
family
permission
gave
to use the
family
N
gave
word.
permission.
I can't give permission to use the N word. I can tell you can't use it, but I can't tell you can use it. Does that make sense? I can tell you cannot use it,
Mhm.
but I cannot tell you can use it. The only answer I can give to someone that's not black when it comes to the N word is that you can't use it. I cannot tell them they can use it. If I'm going to say anything, it's always going to be you cannot use it. Why? Because I'm not every black person.
Mm.
I cannot tell my white friend to use the N word and then him go to a road, he go Brixton, he go Alsden, he go Hackney or Tottenham or somewhere and go, yo, my N words, and someone busts his head. And he go, yeah, but the doctor's surgery told me to use it. I can only tell you not to use it. And I can tell you why you shouldn't use it. I can never give you authority to use it. And if someone uses it against me, I can tell you they used it against me. And I will tell you to formulate your sentence so you highlight that they used it against me, but you can't use it to describe that they used it against me. You can only say the N word. And if you were smart and savvy enough, you would know that you wouldn't want to use it unless you were relishing the opportunity to use it. And I still think the reporter that used it was relishing the opportunity to use the N word. It's like when she said it, you could hear it like she was salivating towards it. You know what I'm saying? And I laugh as if I'm joking. I'm not even joking. It was said with, it was said with, yes, she was doing a piece to highlight the poison of the word, but it was said with poison nonetheless. And I say that because that was coming right off the back of Wiley's inappropriate generalism, where no one wanted to reuse those words for that community. So why is it that we should accept that they will use it for us, but they wouldn't do it for any other tentative community or community that they view as powerful or influential? They wouldn't do it. So the BBC and the producer for that show, I can bet the producer for that show wasn't black. We know the reporter wasn't black. We know the person that whoever filtered the show before it's broadcasted wasn't black. And we know the head of the BBC that refused to apologize initially, we know that he ain't black. So a whole bunch of not black people was deciding what was best to do with the N word because the family says you can report on it. Well, they report on it in a responsible way, just like how, but the family don't own that word.
Yeah, they just said they were trying to
No.
show how. No, I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just adding to it.
The family don't own that word. The family can only say, yes, you can report on it, but you cannot use it. You have to make them know what was said without using it. So even if you want to spell it out to say they said N-I or the N word, everyone know what the N word is. It's not, once you say the N or they said the N word, ooh, okay. That's that's a white phrase, the N word. It's not even our phrase. That's a white phrase, the N word. So, everyone knows what it is. So the BBC was shameful for that. So the question is, Sideman, And this is the next part of it now.
Mm.
When Meghan Markle had her little baby,
Mm.
Archie,
True.
there was a reporter by the name of, was it,
I can't remember because
is
he's
it Danny
famous.
Dyer?
No, not Danny Dyer.
It's not Danny Dyer?
I don't think
No,
it's
I'm getting
Danny
the name
Dyer.
wrong enough.
I don't think it's Danny Dyer.
Hold on.
That's an actor now.
Danny Dyer's an act. Danny, if it ain't you, you know what I mean?
You can retract that one.
No, I'm not afraid to say it's me wrong. You know?
You're doing
Hold on.
Wiley and Kalo.
Oh no, it's not Danny Dyer. What's his
Yeah.
name? No, Danny, I know you.
I can't remember.
I'm doing the Guardian of Kenya. You said,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Hold on, what's his name?
I can't remember because
And I can see the little ugly face as well in the that little Shriner hat.
Mm.
What's his name? The Fez. The guy in the Fez. Oh man. But anyway, him. I'll go and remember his name. If anyone knows his name, please let me know his name. 075399684143. Look this up. Look it up. When I say the name, you look it up, right? Basically, he put a picture of a monkey on his social media to call the little baby a monkey, and I come try to style it out after that. He lost his job, right? If you remember what happened. Did you know the BBC react? What's his name? Danny Baker. You see me never far. Danny Baker. Thank you very much, caller. You get me? I wasn't far. Yeah. Thank you very much. Now 971 as well. Yeah, Danny Baker, right? They gave him his job. I couldn't.
Yeah.
They gave him his job back on the quiet.
Yeah.
How many of you lot knew this? They rehired the little racist piece of something you're flushing at the toilet. You know what I'm saying? This is the BBC. So that's Danny Baker. You have the one from EastEnders that was early in the racist abuse. It wasn't EastEnders, was it?
Why you keep going to Danny Dyer?
Oh, Danny Baker. Did I say Danny Dyer again?
No,
Danny
he's
Baker.
the one in Easter.
Danny Baker. No, man, I'm talking
EastEnders.
about the female that got arrested in Southend last week. I'm just showing the BBC Wagwan.
Oh, okay.
So you can see the institution that is the BBC Wagwan. Do we need to say, yo, boycott paying the TV license? Or is everyone in their house laughing now because you don't pay it anyway? You know the ones.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Should we, is the BBC representative of us that we should even pay that TV license? Think about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you pay for Sky and everything on Sky don't represent you or even show nothing to you in a certain sense.
Mm.
And not on top of that, then Sky's then trying to bash you.
Mm.
You wouldn't keep your Sky, you just say forget that.
Mm.
So why is it that we should be forced to pay a TV license for an institution that does nothing for us? They first they said they lost the real McCoy, then they brought it back. It's on the iPlayer, by the way, for those who ain't seen the real McCoy in years. You know what I mean? Go watch it on the BBC iPlayer. But, you know what I mean? Apart from the real McCoy, when's the last time there was I'm not going to say we should boycott it straight away, but a final strike that if there's another incident, so that let's see what they do with that female that was arrested on the beach in Southend. But Danny Dyer, sorry, all right, Danny Baker, being rehired on the sly and on the quiet. The BBC needs to be held accountable. And a long time, I knew a long time. I just couldn't believe it. I shook my head, but I said, I wonder if how many people know. So the same presenter that put that little, everyone was praising the BBC when the BBC sacked him. Everyone was saying, yeah, the BBC this, the BBC did that. The BBC rehired the man on the sly and on the quiet. Cause no black people don't listen to Danny Baker show. You know what I'm saying? And if you do, it's like we're gonna have to start have a council of blackness, and if you listen to them things, they have to get banned from it. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I mean. You know, a man like Danny Baker, a racist bigot, can get rehired by the BBC. The BBC feels like they can throw out the N-word out there, not willing to apologize, and taking an artist like Sideman to step up to the plate to say this isn't right, and had to step down for the director general of the BBC to come out and say, you know what, we misunderstood or we misread the situation and da 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 da. It's good they apologize, but look what it takes. So what's going to happen now with Sideman? Are they going to rehire him, put him up on a higher salary? Or what the situation is? You know, we wait to see how they treat Sideman, and we watch how they treated Danny Baker. So we put the BBC on notice that if Sideman isn't treated with respect, and if his career is stalled or damaged in any way, we are going to ask for a national boycotting of paying the TV license by every black person and any person that support our cause. Simple as that. No more. We tell them we're going to hijack the Black Lives Matter movement, right? So the phrase is no more. We're not take no more. No more. No more. So when you walk down the street and somebody give the no more. The police, no more. No take no more. No more. And we're going to start thinking positive of ourselves. We have to stop thinking that we are downtrodden. We literally have to stop thinking that we're, because we're not. The thinking that you're downtrodden makes you downtrodden. The thinking that you're great makes you great. Understand that there will be always people trying to supersede that mental power that you have and push you down back into the muck and the quagmire. But you are what you think you are. I don't mean for anyone that's got like a little mental health misunderstanding that might think I'm a Superman or something like that. I'm talking about hold yourself in high accolade. Hold your head high. Know that you are a great person, no matter what age you are, and you can still achieve greatness. Because greatness comes in many shapes and forms. You imparting knowledge and wisdom to someone younger, and that person achieving greatness was your moment of greatness. You understand what I'm saying? So greatness doesn't have to be equated or calculated in millions. So no more. We're not taking no more. No more. Don't take it. If you take it, it's up to you. But I don't take it. I mean, no more. We also looked at just for us to recap. You know what I mean? I'd love some callers in. Give us your take on any of the topics today. You know, be great. We also reviewed if you're just tuning in, the MP Dawn Butler. You know, we normally burn a fire upon the black MPs then, but when they do something good and noteworthy, we will give them that credit and credibility status. Dawn Butler done a very good and selfless action when she highlighted the biasness and the racist procedures within the police due to a stop that she had over the last 2-3 days. It's on a video. You can watch it for yourself. You know, and they try to pull good cop, bad cop on Dawn. But it look like the Rasta vibes turn up in there, you know. Look at dreadlocks here. You get me? Don, if I was a little bit older, you don't, you'd have to say, yo, Don, what about? But anyway, I'm too young for you. Well, I'm young in it. I don't care. But anyway, um, I joke around it, man. But you have to respect. I have to respect the sister for it. She didn't have to do it. And I brought up the story last week of a friend of mine who got pulled over by the police. And this gentleman is, now he's a big man. He's up in his 40s, and the police thought he looks young. So the police thought he was like 20, 21. And he's driving his nice car, so they pulled him over, gave him a hard time. But on realizing his age, they started to backtrack and apologize. But it wasn't the apology that he was after. It was the fact that the officers thought it fine that they could highlight to him the reason they stopped him is because he's a young black guy that looks he's a black guy that looks young, like he's 2021 driving a nice car. So indirectly, whilst they were trying to compliment him, indirectly what they were saying is young black guys that are driving a nice car will get a hard time from us. That's all he heard. You know, that's all he heard. A young black guy that is driving a nice car will get a hard time, will be stopped and checked and da 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 da. So young black guys shouldn't be having nice cars. Why? How can you afford it? Or is it jealousy or something? I don't know. What is everyone that drives a nice car in a gang or selling drugs or something? Because that's the impression they give. You know, every time they stop a young black guys, you see them trying to cuff them and search them and dig them up in public. And what this does to our youth, this one enrages them. This is something that you saw Don Butler highlight. The enraging, the feeling that they try to push onto you of being subhuman, lesser than who you are. And it's sometimes it's not the words they use, it's the action and the attitude. This is what dehumanizes you. You know, so people getting all technical and saying, when you say a police officer is racist, people getting all technical to say, did he call you the N-word or did he call you a racial slur? It's not the racial slur, it's the behavior. You ever watch them movies, them American movies, Hollywoodized, Hollywood plants seeds in the mind, and then these seeds are used like a puppet master's string to play with your emotions. That's why you have to be careful what you watch. But anyway, you watch these Hollywood movies and you see the sheriff come out his car in the countryside town, walk up to the car and go, "You're right, boy." And this sheriff is like younger than the person, the occupant of the car, and he's calling the occupant of the car boy. I don't even like that term still, but anyway, you see, that's what I'm saying. They pull on your emotional strings. Hollywood, be careful of it. Yeah, these are the little things that they practice because they understand the social. They understand the social impact of these things, the mental impact when they behave with certain social cues. So it's no longer the coming out and calling you the extreme racial slurs. It's the coming out and the mannerisms and the posturing and the verbal communication. And this is what like Dawn observed. And this is why I respect her for that, because it's something that we on the ground are aware of. So when an MP takes it up and flags it up, we have to say, well done. This is what we're talking about. You know, it's funny how David Lambie all know not come out and say nothing in support of Dana or nothing. But yet, we know same that boy got Twitter for a while the other day when he couldn't explain the thing. You know, the same belly big like, anyway, I'll go back on that again. So anyway, so Yeah, I'm too much pork, man. Anyway, uh, so we can see that she was able to take these nuances and eloquently explain what the officers were doing. She said I was having a perfectly good conversation with one officer. Come on now, how many of you have had that? Having a perfectly good conversation with one officer, all of a sudden the idiot colleague, you know, like you have two idiot, yeah, and one sense. No, sorry, let me rephrase that. Yeah, one sensible person. It's not no good and bad cop. It's idiot and sensible cop. You get me? So you have one sensible cop that did a talk, right? And then the idiot come. I was going to use something that what I said that's politically incorrect a while ago. Woo, that's too much Family Guy there. Right. So the idiot police officer come. Can you know so that police officer come now and start behaving like that? His IQ is below 70. You understand what I'm saying, right? And he start to act like he's the smartest of the smart. You know what I'm saying? And you can see his colleague looking out of the corner of his eye like, oh man, I have to support this idiot. You get what I'm saying? You could hear the idiot officer. And you could see, and these are the things that she highlighted in the video. And it's good to watch the video, decide for yourself whether she was right or wrong. I support any action that flags up a scenario where anyone when I say lesser, I don't mean as in lesser as in a being, lesser as in political influence and influence within society. Anyone that's in a lesser situation wouldn't be able to verbalize themselves sometimes. And don't get it twisted now. The youth them have been saying the same thing that Don's been saying a long time. It's not like Don's smarter than the youth them. Don's got a platform to speak on. So don't get it twisted up. This is not about intelligence, because if it's intelligence, our youths, even the ones that are uneducated in the educational Babylon system, are still extremely clever. And that is what makes it such a sad scenario for a lot of them to waste the ability. We have such an intellectual um, diaspora of people, but society pulls them into all kind of negative directions. And by the time they recognize their intellect, that intellect, that intellectual ability has become marred through lack of progress. So our youngsters from age birth to roughly around 9, 10 years old, they're miles ahead of the competition intellectually. Schools recognizing that black kids, I'll tell you something, schools recognizing that black kids had this exceptional ability. You know what they did? They said, they years ago, some 20 years ago, they said no longer can young people skip grades. Who do you think that was designed to hold down? The only kids that were excelling, that were skipping grades, go back and research all the newspaper articles from the 90s and the 80s. The kids that were exceptional, that were skipping grades, were the black kids that were finishing high school in no time, going to, you know what I'm saying? So they said no longer can this kid skip classes. So now you have an intelligent child and a busy parent. The intelligent child cannot maximize the ability because the parent hasn't the time to input into the child. The, the child then becomes self-taught and begins to be influenced through nowadays social media. And what do they end up doing? On music and TV. Every youngster wants to be a trap star. Every youngster wants to be a gangster. Every youngster wants to have the bling, the ice-star watches, the ice-star chains, you know, and they lose focus. They lose focus because these things are already what we have. When I say what we have, is that we're chasing what we you're chasing what you already have, but you don't realize you already have it. You know, and I can go into every single nook and cranny of everything that people are chasing to say you already have this. But you begin to chase it, you begin to chase this carrot. And if you remember the old cartoons where the lazy guy on the back of the donkey would have a carrot and a piece of string that he would tie on the saddle on a stick, and it's in front of the donkey, and the donkey will constantly be licking his lips and walking for miles and miles whilst the lazy guy is on the back of the donkey sleeping, walking, trying to get to this carrot. But with every step, the carrot is the same distance away. So these things sidetrack our youngsters. So our youngsters are brilliant. So it's particularly impressive to see that Dawn was not trying to say she was more intelligent or anything like that. She was highlighting that even for her, that's in this honorable position, it became infuriating because she knew what the officer was doing. And that's the brilliance about that piece that she did. She highlighted this is what the officer was doing. She was purposely being antagonistic. So you know the police stop you and then you see how many times you go past the police, you see a black guy is going wild now because they're purposely antagonistic. And you know they're purposely antagonistic, but it gets to the point where you don't care because you don't react anyway, and that's what they want you to do. They want you to react so they have a excuse to try and arrest you. This is the procedure and the policy of the game. And these are the things that we have to start teaching our youngsters about. You know, for years we've been saying this is a mental battle, and we have to start grasping how this mental battle works. But we will all get angry. We will all get angry, and we will all feel that moment that we have to just tell them what. But this is one of the things that I've been working on for years is what I call controlled anger. That no matter how explosive you get, it's contained and it's controlled. And controlled anger is something that you will always 4-6. I am sorry to hear that. And we have to turn the streets into a positive. You know, I'm gonna say it I'm gonna say something negative to achieve something positive. We have the streets. Let's use it to our advantage. Does that make sense? We have the streets. Let's use it to our advantage. Because sometimes you have to take something that's negative and turn it into a positive. They say a cow don't know the use of his tail until he loses it. Sorry, the mask over my face. A cow doesn't know the use of his tail until he loses it. We have the streets. Let's use it to our advantage. We'll catch you back on the other side of the news and advert.